that he/she needs to be in today's video, so I'm going to put her back here. But like, can you help me name her or him? I love her. Look how cute she is. I want the whole collection, but I don't know where I would put them. What's up, guys? I'm super excited because today I'm going to be telling you guys about one of my favorite places that I've ever been in the world, and it is not Disney World. It's actually a place called the Capuchin Catacombs, and it's in Palermo, Sicily. I stumbled upon the Capuchin Catacombs when I was looking at the Roman catacombs because I had planned a backpacking trip to backpack Europe when I graduated from high school, and so I knew I wanted to go to the Roman catacombs because I love like skulls and sugar skulls and I love creepy stuff, and I was like, yes, have to go. So I was researching that, and I kind of stumbled upon something called the Capuchin churches. Now the Capuchin churches are kind of interesting. They're located in different places throughout Europe, and many of them have full displays made out of human bones. Some of them have chandeliers made out of human bones. Some of them have these kind of like good and evil scenes made out of human bones. And not just like they place a skeleton there and call it like a good or bad scene. They take the body parts apart and they reform them into art. So as I was researching that and falling down rabbit holes, I came across the Capuchin Catacombs, which are in Palermo, Sicily. I was not planning on going to Sicily, but after I found that, I was like, I gotta go to Sicily. To give you guys a little bit of background, the Capuchin Catacombs were founded in 1599 after the Capuchin monks' cemetery filled up and they didn't have any more space. So they decided to create these catacombs underground to put bodies. Now around this time, one of their beloved monks died, and somebody had the brilliant idea to mummify him or embalm him in such a way that he looked still like him and place him down there in a little cove so that his brothers could go pray with him. This kind of started a tradition of other monks and nuns and priests being mummified and put down there for their fellow brothers and sisters to come down and pray with them. They would hold their hands, they would pray with them, they would spend time with them. It was kind of like still having that spiritual guidance of that person. So as this started kind of getting out and more people were visiting these dead monks and nuns and priests, regular people wanted to be included. So somebody entrepreneurial in the church thought, hey, this is a great way to fund the church, and they put a system into place where somebody who wanted to be displayed in the catacombs could be if their family gave donations to the church. So when these people who wanted to be in the catacombs died, they went through an 8-month process of being mummified, which basically included them being kind of laid in this section where their body fluids would drain out onto the floor, and there was a ventilation system. Essentially, it dehydrated their bodies though, but left them still looking fairly intact. After that 8 months, the body was then taken and put in what they called a niche. Now the niches were kind of these carved out sections in the limestone underground where the body would be placed and put on prominent display for anyone who went down there to see. Now what's kind of interesting is if or when the person's family or relatives or whomever is paying the donation for them to be on these niches stopped paying, they would be taken down and placed on a shelf where they would stay until their families started paying again. Now some of these families had enough money that they were able to not only have their loved one displayed in the catacombs, but they also had the church change their clothes on a regular basis. Not only that though, but a lot of family members would go down and visit their loved ones. They would spend hours with them, sitting with them, holding their hands, praying with them, talking to them. I'm strange, but even to me, that's creepy. Now, like I said in the beginning of this video, I actually went and visited these catacombs. And as you walk up to the entryway, all you see is this drab building. And above ground, there's kind of this graveyard and there's a church. And at first you're gonna be like, this is not that great. To be honest, when I first got there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed, and I planned an entire section of my trip just to come here. This is really disappointing. But eventually, the actual catacombs opened, and I went in, and I was still pretty much like, oh, I'm really disappointed, because inside, all you do is you walk down a set of stairs and into like this limestone hallway. And it's just limestone. Now, if you've ever been to the catacombs in Rome, you'll know that parts of the catacombs are just pathways in the dark and other parts of the catacombs have bones. There's kind of this combo. So that's kind of what I thought was going to be, was like mostly limestone, but then like maybe a body or two. But no, as soon as you enter the actual catacombs, you can reach out like this, and on both sides of you, you can be touching bodies. There are bodies that are just hanging from the the walls. They've been wired to the walls on display for like everybody to see. And that's what the people wanted. They wanted to be displayed like that, which is so weird to me. There are also like shelves that are just filled with bodies. There are even sections that just have like random body parts. So as you start walking, what you notice is that the different areas, there are basically 4 different areas that you kind of walk through, sectioned off into categories. There's an entire section dedicated to men and women who were like upper class and they paid to be there. And what's crazy is they're all in different dress according to the time that they died and like what was fashionable at the time. So as you walk through them, you kind of see the fashion change. They also all are in different varying states of decay because the older ones or the ones that didn't have as good of an embalmer, they are like basically just skeletons. But some of the other ones have hair, they have eyelashes, they have eyelids that are still covering actual eyes, which is insane. The second section has monks, virgins, and professionals. This is the section of people that would be there regardless of what other people paid. Like, they're there because they belong there. And they're dressed in their either professional garb, so if they're a doctor, they're in their doctor's garbs, or they're dressed in like their monk's robes, which is all quite scary to see a bunch of skeletons in robes, let me just tell you. Then you also have sections of kids and infants, which are definitely the creepiest sections. The kids are ranging in age from very young up to teenagers, and they're all wearing different eras of clothing. And in the infant section, some of the infants are actually in caskets that look like cradles, or they have toys that they loved. Now, the most famous of all the mummies here, and probably one of the mummies that has kind of inspired a lot of people to go visit, was a little 2-year-old girl known as Rosalia. Now, she was one of the last mummies emitted, and she died of pneumonia in 1920. Her parents paid a great deal of money for a really good mortician to embalm her when she died, so her body is so intact that she still looks 100% lifelike. In fact, recent MRI scans have showed that all of her organs are still intact. Now, if that's not creepy enough, this little girl still sometimes winks. Yes, you heard me 100% correctly. She still sometimes winks at people. Now, they don't know exactly why this phenomenon happens. Some scientists speculate that it might have something to do with the embalming process that was used on her, because it's a lost embalming process. Nobody really knows how the mortician did it. Other scientists believe that it might have to do with the humidity. But when this little girl blinks, you can still see her eyes fully intact and bright blue. When we went, I had not heard of the fact that she winks at people or blinks at people, however you want to say it. But like looking back and knowing that is super creepy because she is so lifelike. She looks like a perfect little baby girl. It is literally one of the scariest things. Now, besides the mummies just being hung on walls or on shelves, they have sections of coffins where they've cut away the sides and put glass so you can see the dead in the actual coffins just laying there. They also have little sections where they display scenes. So for instance, if the hall goes like this, they'll have like a little offshoot like that. And in that little section, they'll have a whole scene portrayed of something, whether it's a war scene or an army scene or little kids playing. Like, they have scenes that are going on in these little alcoves. The creepiest part of all of this to me is that most of the 8,000 mummies in the catacombs area are unknown. There are only about 1,000 that are identified, and most of them are monks. So all these people who really wanted to be mummified to be kept and remembered and be put on display so that people would go and like almost kind of worship them in a way. I mean, I know it was to like pray with them, but basically worship them. None of them are really known as to who they are anymore. And the bodies have been moved and jostled around so much that there are whole sections just of like body parts, just legs, arms, you know, and they put bars around those because people were taking the body parts home as souvenirs. So that's basically the Capuchin Catacombs of Sicily in a nutshell. If you guys ever have the chance to go, make sure you go, because you might be one of the people that sees the little girl wink at you. Now, I personally really love religious traditions or like stuff like this where they created this whole underground kind of like catacomb system, in part for money, but also because of like a weird religious thing. So if you guys also liked it, please give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you guys liked it, so I could maybe make more, because I really do love them and I love sharing them with you. I think that they're so fascinating. Like, I read about these just for fun on my free time. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you guys subscribe, because I'm putting out a new video every day for Vlogoween. On that note, if you guys noticed that 2 videos go up today, it's because I didn't get one out yesterday because I tried uploading it 8 times and my browsers kept crashing. Like, it didn't matter where I was uploading it, it just crashed. So I'm putting that video out today and this video out today, but I'll put them out a little spaced apart so you guys have like 2 different times to watch, I guess. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!